Another great interview segment from the Racing Insiders Show.
Let's get right to Michael Krumm. He is a racer, won 2 championships in Super GT in Japan, and he's also raced in the DTM. So we wanted to get his opinion on whether or not this DTM Super GT to the United States, is that going to work? Here's Michael Krumm.
So that's, I think, really, really good that everybody is trying to achieve the same regulations. I think that is really, really something that could change motorsports a lot and make it more easy also to understand for the public and the fans. They'd say, okay, this car's all same category, and you could compete against each other and compare each other much easier all around the world. There's always been talks that should Japan go after DTM or vice versa, or should we go after the US regulations? I don't think that we need to say, okay, this is the best car, or this should be like the Super GT cars. No, that's certainly not the way. I think we need to have exciting racing, really fantastic sport, big battles, and a chance for all the manufacturers to take part, as well as privateers. So to unify everything is really the key point here for me.
All right, we've heard from a racer. Obviously, racers want to race, but they want to have universal rules, universal standards, according to Michael Krumm, one guy. You think that's going to work, Jim? I have my opinions. You think it'll work?
Well, you know, I like to see that guy and the guy that the engineer for the Delta Wing in the bar having a couple of beers. They certainly are from two schools of thought. You know, I'm a spec racing guy, but that usually is on the lower budget, lower level areas. When you have an international series that's arguably has got to be a manufacturer-driven teams, they got to let their hair down a little bit for some rules. So, yes, should we unify some weights and wheel sizes and some things like that and keep the aero in check? I would agree that all series need to have that to be competitive in this economic environment. But let's make no mistake about it. DTM, if it turns into a spec series, and I hate to say this, Peter, but if it turns into something like what Daytona prototypes are, I don't know that we will get that extra fan that goes to the Formula One race like watches those DTM races right now.
What do you think, Peter?
Well, I kind of agree with you. You know, the funny thoughts that when I was listening to, you know, the quote there is that essentially, you know, in my experience, even with like B-Spec, you know, getting guys together that you like and know to lump together to get one rule set can be a problem. That sometimes it's like herding cats. The other thing, again, you know, I think Jim's right that there's got to be some technology if DTM is going to be successful in the world. I mean, so there's going to have to be a balance there to try and get a spec type car, kind of like Jim saying, some parameters, and then also, you know, let guys do innovation where they can.
Wait a minute. One of the problems that we have with a universal standard is who's the universe? Is the universe going to be European-based? Is it going to be Asian-based? Or is it going to be North American-based?
Right.
And the cars, if we ask manufacturers to be involved, the manufacturers want to make their issues paramount in the series, and that can't be. Look what happened to Champ Car and Kart. They argued themselves into oblivion.
I think with the DTM, Bill, let me jump in there. I think with the DTM, if you look since 2000, they quit the series in '96. Rules running rampant. They were running Formula One cars with a little bit of bodywork hanging out. They reformed this series in 2000. They've not missed a season since 2000. Yes, it's the most expensive type of sports car racing probably in the world. Okay, but they have got the formula somewhat right, and that's based on what BMW, Audi, Mercedes wants. If they bring these other manufacturers to the table and they listen to what the manufacturers want, which is what they've done this last 12 or 13 years, this can work.
Completely agree with you. It can work, but it's going to be a big argument. I mean, even when we put guys that like each other around a table, you know, especially manufacturers, they want to win, and when it comes down to it, they want to win and they want to have an advantage. So
the truest thing you said there, Peter, is that the manufacturers want to win, and if they find an edge or they can get an edge, that's what they want to exploit.
And that even goes back to even the simple, back to Grand Am merger. I mean, you know, Ford wants to run an EcoBoost motor and Chevrolet wants to run a 7-liter V8. You know, I mean, there's already problems even in this little world. Never mind bringing all that in.
The Racing Insiders on MAV TV every Thursday at 2 and 5 o'clock Eastern, and again on Saturdays at 12:30 midday.